Alright, we're just going to switch to the victim computer right now, and I'm going to log in as Patchy on this, which is an admin, and I'm just going to go to the forums and click on this very convincing link posted by attacker. And if we switch back to the attacker computer, you'll see that Patchy's browser pop up under the victims table, and now we'll be able to issue different commands to that victim's browser. Also, if you put your cursor over the victim, some information about that victim will pop up, basically the browser and what version of the browser they're using. And we're just going to click on different commands. Get cookies to get the victim's cookies, and you can get the current page's HTML code. And all you do is click on that HTML link, and it will show up in the viewer window. If you scroll down, you'll see that. Except the current page that the victim's on is encoded, so they're not going to get much information out of it. If it's not, then you'll be able to see the HTML code included. And also we can make an alert message box pop up on the victim. But you just type in what you want to say down that box below and click on the alert command. And if we switch over to the victim, you'll see our message popped up. The interesting thing about that is if you have a whole bunch of people infected by your cross-site scripting shell, when you issue that alert command, it'll be alerted to all of them. And there's a few other commands here. You got the eval command, which will basically execute any JavaScript on the victim's computer. You can prompt a question. If the browser is supported, you can get keylogger information, mouse information. If the victim has a Internet Explorer browser, you can get the current clipboard content. Let's click on that right here, and you'll see that because the victim's using Firefox, it's not supported. And you get the visited links, internal IP. You retrieve the current page with the victim's credentials. So if they're in like a logged in page, you can skip that. But like I said before, it's encoded, so we're not going to get much out of that. And there's the denial of service attack that you can do, where you can use the crash command to try to crash the victim's computer, and you also can get the current URL. And as you can see, it shows that really long URL that we put in before. And that's pretty much it for the admin console. Next, we're going to show you the cross-site scripting tunnel, which is much more useful.
Now that we have the cross-site scripting shell set up and we have a victim who has fallen for the attack, we can take advantage of the other tool that came with the download. It's the cross-site scripting tunnel. Basically, this works by routing the HTTP traffic through the cross-site scripting channel. This allows the attacker to channel that traffic and take advantage of the victim's credentials.
Alright, basically the cross-site scripting tunnel is a standard HTTP proxy that sits on the attacker's system. And how it works is it'll connect to the cross-site scripting shell and obtain like the current victim, and the attacker will have to configure his or her browser to use the cross-site scripting tunnel as a proxy. What the tunnel will do is convert the HTTP requests into something the shell can understand and process, and then it's sent to the victim's browser. And basically the JavaScript sitting on the victim's browser will take this command and process the request, the attacker's request, and then send back the response. And we'll just show you that in action real quick here. First, you need to configure your tunnel to connect to your website. And just copy the link in here and just test it. The default password, like we said before, is woot. And if you change the password, you're going to change it here. And as you can see, you can set up the proxy, what interface it listens on. We're just going to leave it on any interface. And as you can see, it's set up on port 8080. And let's go over the dashboard here and start the tunnel. And it'll connect to the shell and get back to the current victim. And as you can see there, the ID of the current victim is the only victim. And basically all we need to do now is set up our browser to use the tunnel as a proxy. And to do this in Firefox, you just go to Tools, Options, Advanced, in the Network tab. And then go to Manual Proxy Configuration, put in 127.0.0.1, and then port 8080. And then remove the part for no proxy. It's set up by default to not use proxies on the local host. Just delete that out and push OK. But I found with Firefox version 3, it has a encoding error, as you'll see here shortly. See, an encoding error comes up. I've short search on Google to see what's causing this problem. Seems just to be a problem with Firefox version 3. It'll probably work in the earlier versions, and they'll probably have it fixed soon, so I don't know. But for now, we'll just use Internet Explorer. And you configure it basically in the same way. Go to Tools, Internet Options, Connections tab, LAN Settings, and then check to use a proxy server. And then just put in the local host again, 8080, and make sure that bypass proxy is unchecked. And then we'll just go to the InfinityXist website. And if you look at the tunnel, you'll see that it is sending requests to the client and getting responses back. And you'll notice that it says cache responses. Basically, it'll cache like images, style sheets, and stuff like that, just to save time on your next request. And what we'll do here is just switch back to the victim. And as you can see, the victim can click on different links and do different things. As long as it doesn't close the page, it'll still continuously send the commands and get the responses back with no problem. And as you can see, it'll take a little while to load, but eventually the website will load. And if you look, you'll see that I'm no longer logged in as attacker, a normal member. You'll see that I'm logged in as Apache, an administrator. So the tunnel allowed me to tunnel through the victim and use their credentials, bypassing IP restrictions and authentication. So now I'll be able to do anything to the website that an admin can. I can go to the admin console and just change anything. So that's basically how the cross-site scripting tunnel works.
Well, that is it for this episode on the cross-site scripting shell and tunnel. I also do want to mention that we're still taking user submissions for videos for our Underground series. You can email your video ideas to underground@infinityexist.com. Also, we are really close to getting a new camera, so please go to the website and donate so we can get that as soon as possible. I'm Knox, and this is Patch. Take it easy.